welcome to Magical Travel Adventure. I am Lauren. I am your host, and welcome. I'm going to start off this by letting you know I did not get Wordle today. I don't even think I know what the word was. Just letting you know. Anyways, my life is still great, and I'm having a wonderful day, even though I didn't get Wordle. So, I am here. I am Lauren. I am a travel advisor. I specialize in Disney, Universal, and cruising vacations, especially with people new to these types of vacations. And I'm here every day in July live talking about either Disney, Universal, or cruising. Yes, I'm going to be getting to cruising. I know some of you have reached out. When is that happening? It's happening soon. So, yes, you can go back and watch any of the videos, but today my focus is doing some touring plans in Magic Kingdom for Disney World. So, if you like these types of videos, if you can like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, that would be great. So, when we're talking about going to Magic Kingdom and touring plans, everyone is going to say, "Oh, you have to do this." Guess what? Everyone's trip is 100% different, and what you like and what you don't like is going to be different. So, I've actually made something that I like to use and that I give my clients, and I'm going to kind of show you how I use it and how my clients use it because I've taken some of their stuff and they're going to allow me to share it. So this is a Disney World rides checklist. And basically what it is I've put all the rides on. I have it for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. And if you're a client of mine, you get this whole thing when you first become a client. And you can kind of go through and look at the different types of rides that there are. Now, I know this is a little smaller for you because, obviously it's not perfect. But if you want access to it, there is a link in the show notes here. So you can definitely click on it and get access so you can have your own copy. So the stars just mean that Genie Plus is included. So it's a very simple process. I have all the rides and I have Wishful rides on here because I do have the Railroad and I do have Tron, both of which are not open right now, but gosh, I am like willing them to be open. So I leave them on this list. But I have 3 different types that I'm going to use today. So I'm going to use this checklist. I'm taking my son with in a multi-generational family trip. And so I kind of filled it out like how I would fill it out. And then so this is like if you were taking a toddler, I have one next that I'll go over that is if you have like 8 to 10-year-olds, and then if you have teenagers. So it's pretty simple that I skip some rides and I'm picking other rides, and some rides I'm not sure about. So my son is not maybe as adventurous, but he is getting more adventurous as the days go on. We have grown a lot. I think part of it was his age. He's 4 now. When he was 3, he was very nervous, very scared of things, didn't like dark things, didn't like roller coasters, didn't even like to go near a roller coaster, afraid that he would somehow magically hop onto it by being near it. Toddler logic. So this kind of helped me narrow down my focus. Now, if you look on this, on my must-dos, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I probably can't do 14 in one day with a toddler. That is probably an impossible idea, even with Genie Plus, because we don't tour the whole park the whole time. We go in the morning. My son gets up super early, so we could be there. We could be there to open it up, no problem. But we go early. We do early entry. I do Genie Plus. But some people don't. You don't need to do Genie Plus. But in this case, I would definitely need 2 days. I would never be able to get all this done on my must-do list by just looking at this. That's too many days. That's too many rides that are must-dos that I couldn't put that kind of pressure on myself. I would say 7 rides is good. and is probably okay for you. Um, Anything more than 7, you're going to need another day in that park. So, if I was going to use, like, say I was going to focus on my must do's for this day, knowing that I would have other days that I would do it, what I would do is I would pick an early entry ride that I would wanna do. So when we got there, a ride that we would do that we would wait in line. I would pick my Genie Plus selection that I would make at 7 AM, and I would think about what is the next ride that I wanna do and maybe, some of the rides that maybe I don't need Genie Plus for. So, things that I wanna think about are I don't wanna be running all over the park. And I don't want to try and do too much in the day. Now, my son does better in the morning, so I try and get as many rides in as in the morning, and then I can always leave shows for later in the day when we come back after our break. So, if I was going to do this, what I would do is in the morning, I would say that we are going to get our lightning lane or yeah, our Genie Plus selection is going to be Peter Pan's Flight because that's one of the popular ones. And then I'm going to say that we're going to do Buzz Lightyear during early entry. And after Buzz Lightyear, then we're going to try to go for Winnie the Pooh without a lightning lane in Genie Plus, whatever. It's all the same. It's too many words, too many names. So those would be my like first 3 rides that I would try for. Then after that, hopefully we would have Peter Pan and do Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and Buzz Lightyear. And let's say the park opened at 9 and early entry was 8:30. Then maybe around 10 o'clock, I have gotten my Peter Pan because I'm so good at it and I got it right away in the morning. That I would then pick Pirates of the Caribbean as my next one. And while I was waiting for that Genie Plus selection, I would go over to The Little Mermaid. And then from The Little Mermaid, hopefully I could go over to Pirates and use my Genie Plus selection. And that's pretty much where I would stop before I had lunch for the day. So I would probably have lunch and I would maybe try and get the Speedway Genie Plus selection. And then maybe we would hop on the People Mover, maybe not. It would kind of depend on timing. And this is all if my Genie Plus selections worked out. Um, and then I would go back to the hotel. So like 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'm always trying to go back to the hotel. And then we would maybe come back around, 6 o'clock at night. So I might try to get a Meet Mickey Mouse Genie Plus selection, and I might try to get a Dumbo one, although not really necessary. But we could come back and do pretty much any of these things that are on my list. So it's easy to plan in the morning, but once you plan in the morning, then you could make better decisions in the afternoon to kind of see how you're doing. But I would skip the shows, like I would skip PhilharMagic and Monsters Laugh in the morning because those are things I think my son can come back to later in the day as a toddler. So let's look at it if you are not a toddler, if you are a like 8 to 10-year-old. So it kind of changes. The kids are more into bigger rides at this point. So rides that might have a height requirement and things like that. So Big Thunder Mountain is more important. Haunted Mansion, my son didn't do. So, Haunted Mansion, a lot of people want to do. And Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan is not as exciting. Um, and at this point, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Space Mountain, and Splash Mountain are all important. Now, of course, we do know that Splash Mountain is going to go down eventually to be rethemed as for Princess Tiana. I'm so excited. So at this point, what I would do is, again, I would try and do early entry because I think 8 to 10-year-olds are still pretty excited to be at Disney World. They want to be there, go to the Magic Kingdom. So my goal would still be the same. So in the morning, what I would do is I would purchase Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because that's separate. So I'd purchase Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and then either I would go for Space Mountain or Thunder Mountain, depending on what the kids say they would prefer. But those are the two that I would go for. And then for my early entry, Splash Mountain is not open for early entry, neither is Big Thunder Mountain. So I'm not talking about those. If you are not doing Genie Plus or individual Lightning Lane at all, then no matter what early entry, you're going to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for your shortest wait. But if I've done my Genie Plus selections, let's see, maybe I would go to, oh, geez, this is hard. A lot of these are closed in the morning. So I think I would go to Space Mountain. So maybe I would get a Big Thunder Mountain individual Genie Plus, and I would try for Space Mountain. And as soon as I could get Big Thunder Mountain, afterwards, I would try and get Splash Mountain, or right when park opened, I would run over to Splash Mountain to do that. Now, with kids that are 8 to 10, going back and forth between the parks and rides that are a little more spread out, that might be what you want to focus on. But I would say you want to get the big rides done as early as you can throughout the day. Then from there, I would just be trying to grab things. Jungle Cruise, for some weird reason, that Genie Plus selection goes so quickly. So you have to make a decision how important that is to you in your trip. Kids from 8 to 10 might not need a break in the day. I can't imagine going to Disney World without taking a midday break. But I don't know. My son's 4, so, I haven't fully slept in 4 years. So I don't remember what it's like to sleep through the night and not have that. So maybe your kids are great and you can go the full day. Maybe you do a sit down meal in order to, kind of take a rest in the park. Maybe you ride Carousel of Progress, hit up a nap in there, whatever works for you. Now, if you have teenagers, I'm going to tell you, you might not be able to rope drop. It's probably not going to work out for you. You have to know your kids. You have to know what they are about. As a teenager, I was super cool and I always got up early. And it was more because my body was just so used to it from being in high school, and I had to catch the bus at 6:30 in the morning. Yes, I still remember that. So, if your kids need to sleep in, your kids need to sleep in. Having that battle, having that fight is so not worth it. You can do a lot. It's called stacking Genie Plus selections. And I would say you really do want Genie Plus if you're going to do it this way. So what I would do is I would purchase Genie Plus at 7 a.m. So still, as the adults, you want to purchase Genie Plus before 7 a.m. and an individual Lightning Lane. You're going to get that Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for later in the day. And you're going to go for you're going to look to see which time is earlier, Thunder Mountain or Space Mountain. And you're going to try and grab a Genie Plus selection for those. And you're going to try and get it for 10:30, 11, so that you have enough time to actually get to the parks. Now, what happens is if you make a Genie Plus selection, and let's say the park opens at 9 and you made a Genie Plus selection for 11:15. The park opens at 9. At 11:01 a.m., you have not used your Genie Plus selection for Thunder Mountain because it starts at 11:15. You can make an additional Genie Plus selection at that point. So at that point, I would look to see at Space Mountain or Splash Mountain, can I get one around that same time or close to it? You can have overlapping times, that's fine. And then I would do that. And then I would continue to just keep getting Genie Plus selections that are available on your, must do list, and decide what rides you are okay waiting for. Like Pirates of the Caribbean to me isn't a horrible ride to wait for because you are inside, it's cooler, it's dark, it's okay. What's one that's not fun? Peter Pan just seems like endless. So I won't wait for that ride. That's not one that I can wait for. Thunder Mountain is kind of tough because you're waiting outside and it gets really narrow at the end. So I'd rather wait in Space Mountain because it's cooler. But I guess it kind of depends on what time of year you're going. Jungle Cruise, I don't really like to wait for it, so you might wanna wait for that at later in the day. That might be an interest of you. Haunted Mansion, you're waiting outside for that, so that might be challenging. But those are things you wanna think about. Now I have less must-dos at Magic Kingdom. So here, I might only have to go 1 day to Magic Kingdom with my teenagers because they might be more interested at Hollywood Studios at Galaxy's Edge. So they might want 2 days at Hollywood Studios, but only 1 day here at Disney World. I have less must-dos. I have a bunch of maybes, but, you know, I some of that, I don't know. It's really gonna depend on your kid. And I've just marked these as I have just to give you an example on how to use these. It doesn't mean that these are the rides that all teenagers use or all toddlers do or all kids that are around that 8 to 10-year-old do. It's just this is an example of how to use this resource to better help you figure out how many days you might need in the parks, which parks you might want to have more time in than others, how you might structure your day in the parks. There's lots of different ways. So again, this resource is below in the show notes if you would like it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will be back again every day in July, helping you with your Disney World, Universal, or cruise vacation. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification bell. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.